Canadians, Australians on these trips.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the September 23rd, 2025 Select Board meeting. Dan, would you like to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly.
Welcome back, Dan.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 9th, 2025?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain?
All opposed? At this time, we are going to go into new public business. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Anyone in the audience for new public business, please go up to the podium and address yourself, and welcome.
Good
We
evening.
do have a timer. The clerk also has a timer for 3 minutes, if we could limit it to that. Thank you.
Well, good evening. I'm Bill Cosawan, and I live at 7 Fairview Street. But then again, most of you probably know who I am and probably why I'm here. Amongst other things, I'm a member of the Danvers Historical Society. And since the time of my youth, I have been fascinated with the town history of Danvers Revolutionary War history. The United States of America is currently celebrating the 250th anniversary of the American Revolutionary War. And what I'm here to discuss is an offer by M&T Bank of their property located at 1 Federal Street as a gift to the town of Danvers as a historic park. A significant early portion of that conflict occurred in Danvers during the summer of 1774, when British General Thomas Gage relocated his residence here and had 2 companies of the troops accompany him as lifeguard. In specific, Gage lived in what is then known as Robert Hooper's Great House, known today as the Lindens, which was formerly located at 135 Sylvan Street, and across the road was the encampment, the site of his troops, the remaining portion of which now is known as 1 Federal Street, which abuts and is a part of the M&T Bank property. For that brief 87-day period, Danvers was the geopolitical hotspot of the erupting revolution and should be commemorated for our community. Decades ago, both sites were recognized by the town of Danvers, having historical site road signs acknowledging them, but those signs disappeared long ago, and the memory of General Gage and his troops in Danvers appears to have faded away with the greatest generation who knew the story well. I might mention that my parents bought 135 Sylvan Street back when I was 8 years old, and I can pretty much tell you that every day I've driven down that driveway, I've thought about that encampment, which was right across the street. So this is a personal matter, which I'd like to pitch to you. Regarding 1 Federal Street, which is the surviving undeveloped remnant of the encampment site, it is owned by Conant Ventures Incorporated, somehow related to M&T Bank, parcel ID 062017A, classified as unbuildable, land size area is 0.19 acre, valued at $15,900, and was billed a total of $174.74 for real estate tax over the past 4 quarters. With historic commemoration being my motivator, I queried M&T Bank about the parcel in January of 2025, and on May 9, 2025, I was contacted by Jason Chwadrak, Vice President, M&T Bank Corporate Real Estate, offering the parcel to the town of Danvers so long as it solely was used as a public park. I originally forwarded the M&T Bank offer to the town of Danvers back in May. However, I was only notified on July 14th that the offer needed to be voted on by the Select Board and then possibly by town meeting in order to be accepted. At present, Mr. Chwadwick of M&T Bank patiently awaits the town of Danvers' response. Further, I'm not aware of the political mechanism required to accept such a gift, so I stand here before you tonight to initiate that effort. Therefore, my mission tonight is to explain my outreach, which leads to making a motion that the town of Danvers accept M&T Bank's offer and thereby create the historical site. As for the naming of the proposed park, initially I had extemporaneously come up with General Gage Park as a relative moniker. However, as of recent, I was approached by several interested parties who want to suggest what they feel would be a better name for it. Our state representative, Sally Kearns thought Heritage Park might be more politically appropriate. Henry Rutkowski, captain of the Danvers Alumnus Company of Militia, suggested calling it Expedition Park, which would be an accurate description of what was there, an expedition. Finally, my friend Robin Goggins suggested Liberty Park, which has a nice family-friendly ring to it. I might also mention that Dick Trask, our town archivist, reached out to me, and he supported this proposal. So that's my point for being here, and I thank you very much for your time. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. We will defer that to the town manager and have her look into that for you, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else, would anybody else like to come up? Please go up to the podium and introduce yourself. Thank you. And I forgot to say, if anybody does have cell phones, if you could turn it down, or if you need to take a call during an emergency, we understand. Please step out of the room. Thank you.
Hi, Richard
Hi.
Bolduc, Precinct 4 Town Meeting member. A few years back, I was up here about road conditions, trench work, repairs, what's our fallback on contractors, who repairs them, how long it takes to repair them. And some of these roads in town are ferocious. They're terrible. And now, I know it's beating on a dead horse, but the gas company is one of the biggest culprits. They don't know how to patch a hole or a trench. I understand the concept of construction and trench settling and all the other good stuff that goes with it, but there's got to be something they can do to put a good temporary patch. Because come wintertime, the plow's going to have a heck of a time with some of these trenches. So I don't know what repercussions we have on some of these contractors, but can we look into it and see what we can do on some of them? Because some of them are pretty bad. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. And we'll have the town manager look into that with DPW. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Please go up. Nice to see you, Mark. Up.
I don't know how to reset it. Oh, wait a minute.
Set
Okay,
it for
Mark,
3
go.
minutes.
This is for Richard.
Thank you.
I'm going to be very short. Mark Zubrek, 9 Glendale Drive in Danvers. I'll be very short, but I proposed a citizen's petition to you, and it is documented with the information that has been provided in front of you. What we want to do is, this is a citizen's petition, and you know I'm famous for that. So subject is to the planning board actions and master plan consideration. This petition asks the select board with the planning board and the town manager, the appointing authority of the planning board, to consider the following. Limit the current permissible density by right. Evaluate the consequences of implementing the MBTA law. Anticipated consequences of congestion of the allowed zoning. Review and consider the possible relief in density, congestion, and the parking requirements currently allowed by right, and then expanded by special permits and variances by the planning board actions. The build in exception and permissible variances and relief petitions need to be controlled better. These may be controlled by the planning board actions. Planning board must reflect the majority views of our residents to preserve the local zoning developments for our community. Consider the results of surveys and petitions of our residents. The Danvers Community Survey Report in 2017 was very explicit about the density, congestion, taxes, and traffic. Explore and consider the development of a master plan for the town of Danvers to provide guidance and vision for the town. What do we want to be when we grow up? This petition is submitted by the representatives of Danvers Concerned Citizens. Mark Zubrek submitting the petition on behalf of the Danvers Concerned Citizens. I think my petition is self-explanatory, and this is a continuation of what has transpired with the town meeting in the past, and it continues because I have 4 different state petitions that are asking for exactly the same types of approach to reconsider or rescind the MBTA law. I know that we are not able to rescind it, but we can adapt it to our needs to preserve the community of Danvers and the culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Any questions?
We'll have the town manager, we'll take that under advisement and talk with her about
Madam
this.
Chairman, may I make a
Sure.
comment?
Sure, Dan.
Selectman Bean, myself, met with the town manager a couple of weeks ago to talk about goal setting for her and her team. And the input from this board, I think 3 of the 5 mentioned some type of master plan. And we discussed, is there a need for a master plan? What is a master plan? Is it going to cost $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, depending on the depth of it? The town manager is doing some more research, and Mr. Bean and I will be meeting with her on October 1st to talk about goals. And obviously, the master plan will be one of those items for discussion.
Thank
So
you.
that's where we're at.
Thank you very much for at least considering that. But I would rather, see that we go into a little bit more detail, not just the master plan. The master plan will give us a map to go to, and I think that's the first step. And what I've been told is that this has been proposed 2 or 3 years ago under the old town manager, and it was nixed at that time. So this will be a good start. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you, Dan, for that. Is there anybody else that would like to go up? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming up and letting us hear what you have to say. At this time, the board is requested to approve the sale of $4,850,000 general obligation bond issue to Janie Montgomery Scott LLC at the price of $5,284,833.03 and accrued interest, if any. Who is here to speak? Rodney? Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chairwoman. We had a successful bond offering a couple weeks back. In front of the board is action to approve that sale. $4.85 million in general obligation bonds, a total of 5.2 and change in terms of the actual offering. The funds are for the Northland Substation Project and the water main replacement program, both which have been authorized at town meetings over the past 2 or 3 years. A little over 3%, 3.057% interest rate. Again, a little bit higher than that great rate market we had over the past few years, but still very competitive true interest costs. And happy to answer any questions the board has.
Sorry, what did you say the rate was?
3.057.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions? Any more questions? Gardner, is that it?
That was my only question. I support this. Thank you.
Terrific. Mike?
Good to see you tonight, Rodney. So did the amount of the sale, was it more than you anticipated?
No, so essentially what we get is a premium for our bond. So as part of it, essentially it's cash up front, which lowers the long-term borrowing, which results in 4.85 million as the debt service we'll have to pay over the next 15 years. 5.2 and change is the actual cost of the project, which was 5.2 million in proceeds we needed. Plus, we always incur additional money to pay for the cost of the bond. So for our bond counsel, financial advisor, et cetera.
Okay, thank you.
Terrific. Dee?
No questions, thank you.
Dan?
Thank you. Yes, hi, Rodney. How you doing?
How you doing, Dan?
Good to see you again. Rodney, on the front page, you talk about the true interest costs of 3.057655. But on the second page, we're being asked to vote on different amounts that mature yearly, and 9 of them are at 5% and 6 are at 4%. So can you explain that?
Yeah, so what the true interest cost is taking the amount we're actually borrowing, the premium, so essentially the cash that we're getting that doesn't need to be bonded, blending that together with the coupon rate where you see the 4s and 5s, and the net result is a 3.05.
It's a net, okay. Thank you. All right, all set, Madam Chairman.
Wonderful. So, good job, Rodney. Thank you very much. We're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
You need a vote of some
To
type?
take a vote, yes. so-
There's a, I believe that you've drafted some
Oh, I-
language,
Yeah, would
specific
you like to
language.
read that, Gardner?
Is this what we're reading, Kathy?
Oh, this is Kathy, do you do it, Madam Clerk? Madam Clerk?
Was there a specific language? Is the last page of the specific
Yeah,
language?
for
you need?
certify.
That's just my certification
okay.
page.
And I move we accept the recommendation and sign the bonds with the true, for 4.850 million general obligation bond issue as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. The board will consider a proclamation in recognition of Danvers Electric for Public Power Week. Gardner, would you like to read that?
Sure. I didn't realize I was going to do it, but sure, happy to. You got it.
And Clint, would you like to get up and thank you, introduce yourself to everybody? Sure, we know you. Thank you.
Do we want to hear a report and then I'll read the
Yeah.
proclamation?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Clint.
Thank you. Good evening. Clint Allen, Utility Director for the Electric Division. I am here tonight on behalf of the Municipal Light Board to recommend the Select Board issue a proclamation in recognition of Public Power Week, which will take place October 5th to the 11th of this year. Public Power Week is basically an opportunity to highlight the benefits of a community-owned, not-for-profit electric utility that recognizes the dedicated service of the employees and all the team members of Danvers Electric and the town itself. Across America, there's over 2,000 communities that annually participate in this weekly tradition. Danvers Electric is no different than any of those. We've done it this will be the 15th one that I've experienced since I've been here. But we felt that it would just be a nice concerted effort show of support from the board to formally issue a proclamation. And we would really not only appreciate that, but we would like to have it documented for all of our ratepayers and all of our citizens to have going forward in the future. This will also serve not only as a kickoff to Public Power Week itself, but I feel obligated to do a little pitch that our open house will be next Thursday, October 2nd, at Two Boroughs. So we have a lot of goodies and a lot of fun stuff for the kids. We hope to see everybody down there, and it is a week before the fair, so we were considerate of that as well. But with that, I respectfully recommend that the Select Board adopt this proclamation designating October 5th to the 11th as Public Power Week here in Danvers.
Wonderful. And Gardner, would you like to read it?
Sure.
Thank you.
Whereas the Select Board, members of the Municipal Light Board, and the citizens of Danvers place a high value on local choice and community service and operate a community-owned, not-for-profit electric utility, with the MLB having a direct say in its operations and policies. And whereas Danvers Electric provides our homes, businesses, schools, social service agencies, and municipal operations with reliable, efficient, and safe electricity, employing sound business practices to ensure the best possible service at not-for-profit rates. And whereas Danvers Electric is a valuable community asset that contributes to the well-being of our residents through energy efficiency programs, customer service, environmental stewardship, economic development, and safety awareness, and whereas Danvers Electric is a dependable and trustworthy institution whose local operation provides consumer protections, supports community resilience, and contributes to making Danvers a better place to live and work while protecting the global environment, and whereas as Danvers Electric continues to provide safe, reliable, and affordable electricity to the residents and businesses of Danvers, just as it has since its founding in 1870, therefore, we are proud to recognize the week of October 5th through the 11th, 2025, as Public Power Week in recognition of the people of Danvers Electric, their dedicated service, and to educate customer owners, policymakers, and employees on the benefits of public power. And that the town of Danvers proudly joins with more than 2,000 other public power systems across the United States in celebrating public power, which puts people, community, and services before profits.
Wonderful. I'd like to make a motion as presented.
So move.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? You do a great job. You know, I look forward to that week. I remember when my kids were young, we put them in the bucket truck, and we also do a lot of, what are they, displays and face paintings, everything.
Everything, yeah, anything, yeah.
And-
We're the second best game in town, maybe behind the Topsfield Fair.
But I will say, you know, for the residents, how lucky we are to have Danvers Electric have our own electric. You know, keeps our rates down, right?
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All
To
right,
you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
What time is the open house on 10, 11?
thanks for asking. It's from 4 to 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Great.
All right. Thank you very
all.
much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Let's see, so we will go, a public hearing will be held on the application of Guzman Corporation, DBA Honeydew Donuts, 156 Andover Street, Raquelta Gabriella Guzman, owner, for a transfer of common vehicular license at that location. And who is here to speak on that? Thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening. I am Raquelita for the Guzman Corporation.
And how-
Hi, good evening. My name is Marvin Reynoso. I'm she's husband. We are looking to open the franchise Honeydew in Danvers, so that's the reason we are here tonight.
Excellent. Terrific. Board members, do you have any questions, Dan?
I didn't see any paperwork in the packet.
I have the paperwork here.
What
It's
is
just
it?
a brief, it's just the brief transfer of ownership based on the agenda item.
You all set, Dan?
I don't understand why we couldn't have got a copy of it, a simple piece of paper.
I think the clerk said everything's in order, right?
Everything
Well,
is
I'm
in,
sure it is in order, but still, I think it should have been in the packet. Very simple request. Thank you.
All right, we'll make sure that we can get you a copy, Dan. Thank you. Dee?
No questions, thank you.
All right, Mike?
Good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gardner?
No questions. I probably am funding this. I'm a frequent flyer at the store, so.
Well, I wish you luck, too. Folks, this is a public hearing. Does anybody in the audience have any comments?
Motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second? All opposed? None? Okay. Thank you. What's the will of the board?
Thank you.
I move that we approve the application as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Thank you and good luck.
Good luck.
All right. Public hearing will be held under Chapter 140, Section 181, weekdays, including Saturdays, Chapter 136, Section 4, Sundays, of the general laws on the application of J&J Asian Cuisine, 156 Andover Street, Shi Long Hu, for a 7-day entertainment license at that location. Who is here? Please go, welcome. How can we help you?
Hi, good evening. My name is Shilong Hu. I'm here to apply the entertainment license for the karaoke for my restaurant for customer.
Well, thank you. Is the paperwork in order?
paperwork is in order. You have a diagram of where he's looking to do the karaoke at that location?
Board members, do you have questions, Dan?
I do. This is currently you're open for business and now you're looking for entertainment, is that correct?
Yes, for that.
Through you to the chair.
Yes.
That's correct. And how long has he been in business at this location?
I'm here 1 year.
1 year. Thank you, that's all for now.
Dee?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
If you're bad at karaoke, can you still sing there? No, good luck. I hope it drums up more business.
Yeah. Gardner?
No, I'm all set with this.
Well, we wish you luck. You know, I think, I have never been there. I'd like to come sometime, too. And Maybe, I don't think I sing as well either, so.
If you
But
go, you
thank
if you go, you gotta sing.
I know,
That's the
I
deal.
know. So this is a public hearing, folks. Anybody in the audience have any questions? Okay, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What's the will of the board, please?
Accept as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. All right, next on the agenda, a public hearing will be held under Chapter 138 of the General Laws on the application of Saltwater Grill LLC, DBA Saltwater Grill, 50 Maple Street, Danvers, Mass. John P. Fallon, manager, for a transfer of all alcohol common vehicular license at that location. License previously held by Unity Viculars. Who's here? Hi, John.
Good evening. My name is actually Joel Favazza. I'm an
Oh, I'm
attorney.
sorry.
Jack Fallon is here. He's in the blue shirt. For the record, my name is Joel Favazza. I'm an attorney at Seaside Legal Solutions with an address of 123 Main Street in Gloucester, Massachusetts. Anyone who's a Danvers High grad, please don't hold it against me. So Jack operates a restaurant called the Saltwater Grill in Gloucester. It's if you ever go to Gloucester, you come in over the bridge, hit the Rotary. It's where the old Friendlies was. It's about a 100-seat restaurant. It is one of the more popular restaurants in town. It's a great place to bring a family, great place to watch a football game, great place to just not have to fork over your whole wallet to have a good meal. And he's had the opportunity to bring a similar style restaurant here to Maple Street. And so he's seeking to take over what was Unity Victuals and create that to a, I don't know, call it Saltwater Grill Annex. It's about half the size of the one he has in Gloucester, but he's starting small to make sure he can get it right. We have the application submitted. If you have any questions on that, I'm happy to go through that. If you have any questions for Jack in particular, he's not shy. He'll come and give you answers as well.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, is the paperwork in order?
Paperwork is in order.
Okay. Mike, do you have any questions?
I definitely want to know what's on the menu, but I'm happy that you're taking over and moving in. We were just talking about it last week, about the walkability of the center of town, so this will fit right in. So, thank you.
Steve?
Well, I don't know if this is out of order. Madam Town Manager, would you recommend this?
Yes, I was there recently, and the boosters for the Gloucester High School volleyball is meeting there tonight at 7, so it is definitely a community restaurant.
No questions, thank you.
Gardner?
A few common liquor license questions I have through you, Madam Chair, to the applicant. Some of the information here is redacted for public use, but what town does Mr. Fallon live in?
Jack lives in Salisbury as his primary residence.
Okay. The reason I ask is I note that you put down the number of hours you'll be in on the licensed premises is 20 a week. What are the hours of the business, and how many hours a week is it open?
Sure. So the application was, we did 20 on a 40-hour work week to split between the Gloucester location and this. That was before your town clerk pointed us toward the town of Danvers liquor license guidelines and regulations. And so we noted that he needs to be on premises at least 50% of the time per your local regs. And so we're happy to amend that to ensure that he's there as the name manager 50% of the time. To answer your question, as to hours, the expectation is that Monday through Thursday, they'll operate from about 11:30 a.m. to about 9 p.m. On Friday and Saturday, they'll open the same time. If the business is going well, they may stay open until about 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday, they currently run brunch in Gloucester, and would probably not immediately run brunch here, but would like to move into a brunch. And brunch would typically start 10:30 on a Sunday.
Okay, so in excess of 50 hours or 60 hours a week.
Yes.
And you're going to amend this to be half of that.
Yes.
And our liquor license regulations also ask for, and I didn't see attached here, maybe actually in the packet, where's the alternative manager list? Because we want someone on that list, whoever it is, to be on premise at all times, at least one of those people.
Yes.
I didn't see them in the.
It was,
It was given to me tonight.
Okay.
I have it.
But you have it and you're
I do,
satisfied?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. What is the relationship of Melissa Byrne to this application? I see a lot of reference to Melissa Byrne on the first page.
Oh,
But
I'm
I don't see
sorry.
any
No,
officer or, this is not asking for that person to be on the license unless it's an alternate.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Item 5 and item 8.
Oh, I apologize. That is from a different application.
Okay, all right.
So you could
just had-
scratch that
All right.
off my memo. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Not a worry. Okay. Great, I think that's all my questions. I see you're Serve Safe certified. Can I just ask your experience in the other restaurant? Have you had any alcohol compliance issues in the other location? Okay.
Do you want to go up to the
Yeah,
podium?
we got the mic so that's.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
actually, if you might expose on your experience as the liquor license holder in the other location.
All right, thank you. We haven't had any infractions whatsoever at the Gloucester location. I have an extensive background in the food and beverage industry, probably about 45 years, if you want to count when I was a dishwasher starting out, busboy, manager, and so forth, now owner. I was at the local country club, Bass Rocks Country Golf Club in Gloucester, where I oversaw the beverage operation. I'm happy to say we never had any major infractions. We've dealt with people that have had alcohol in excess, so we're certainly trained to address that when that happens.
And are you the license holder at that other location too? The liquor
Yes.
license responsible person, okay. And how long have you been in business there?
7 years.
7 years, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's, I guess I'll ask, Danny, you gonna ask about?
Dan's going to
Oh,
be up
I
next.
have a few
Yes.
questions, yes.
Yep.
All right, then
Are you
I'll
done,
leave that
Gardner?
to you.
Okay. yes.
I know what Dan
Yeah.
commonly likes to
Dan?
ask, I'll leave it to him. That's my questions, thank you.
Welcome.
you.
What kind of food will you be serving? Regular pub menu or sit-down dining or?
It'll be a full-service menu, predominantly seafood. We're excited to be part of the community. You know, we've looked at a lot of the local places, and I think we've found a possibility to really provide enjoyable, fresh seafood, you know, right from Gloucester to Danvers.
Okay, that's good. We need more restaurants downtown. I look forward to it. So when I visit your place, what will the experience be with the entertainment or action or TVs? Just sit down, quiet,
Yeah.
rowdy? What should I expect?
Basically, we'll have just music that's background music. We'll have TVs for some sporting events. Just a friendly welcome to everybody.
Okay.
You know, I might be able to tell a few jokes on the
No,
side.
comedians aren't popular right now.
But I think it's just generally we provide a great atmosphere, friendly local scene, and we're excited about being part of Danvers, and hopefully we'll get going real soon.
So you have 14 bar stools and 22 tables, that's 36, but you have capacity of 53. So that other 17, some of those will be you and staff. Will there be a lot of people standing around?
No, I don't anticipate that. We'll have some bench seating, you know, as far as people waiting for a table.
You're talking, I'm just gonna pull the plan up.
Yeah.
So I think by code, it's occupancy is 64, but I think if we, yeah, I think the seating is 36 seats at tables, including the benches, and then 14 bar is 50 total. So it's 50 seats.
There's 50 seats.
That holds 64 people. So again, I don't think you'll have a full staff of 14, so there will be
Right.
room. You know, if there is a few people standing, you know, behind a seat at a bar, there won't be over occupancy. But the idea is that there's enough excess capacity in the occupancy that you can fill the 50 seats without it having to be overcrowded with people, you know, unable to get through.
Okay. And Mr. Trask touched on your experience and with no alcohol-related incidents.
That's
In
correct.
your other place. That's good.
That's correct.
What is your policy on carding patrons?
Well, we have the employees, the bartenders, and, the servers trained, tips trained, so, they're aware of what to look for as far as a patron that, is having alcohol. But typically, we look for identification if they're 30 or younger, if they appear to be 30 or younger.
A lot of our establishments, they have a policy of carding everybody. Some of them, 40's the cutoff limit. But still, we have occasionally a misfortune of somebody going in to buy a Budweiser or a six-pack of Bud and doesn't get asked for their ID, and then they're before us for serving a minor.
Yeah.
And that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I prefer a card all, so there's no problems, no questions as to who is being served in your premises. Not making that a requirement, but I recommend you think about that, especially if you're going to be downtown and kids can walk in easily. Not
Yeah,
necessarily
we
kids,
certainly
but,
take that into consideration.
okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, that's all, thank you.
Are you all set, Dan?
Yep.
I think it's great, John. I did Google, you have a place in Portland, Maine also?
No, that's different.
Oh, that's
a different.
That was different? Oh, okay. But I'm excited about the seafood.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, we really don't have anything in town, and that's what we want. We want to promote new businesses, and your place in Gloucester is fabulous. I've been there before.
Thank
So
you
I
very
wish you
much.
luck. This is a
Thank you.
public hearing. Does anybody in the...
The chef is here with
Oh.
me as well.
Oh.
I'd like to recognize
Wonderful.
Adriano Caetano.
Do you want to go up and say anything, a specialty that... Oh, well, thank you for coming. Yeah, go up, introduce yourself.
Will be soon, yes.
How's your calamari?
It's great.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. My name is Adriano. I'm the head chef at Saltwater Grill. So we're looking forward for the second location, and I hope to see everyone there.
Wonderful.
Thank
Well,
you.
we're looking forward to having you. Good luck, This is a public hearing. Does anybody in the audience have any questions? Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? What's the will of the board, please?
So if I may, the applicant came in not fully aware of our rules and regulation initially and got caught up to speed on the requirement of the manager being on the premises, the fact that we need an alternate. I heard the clerk say she got the name of the alternate today. So we haven't necessarily seen that. Is it only one person that's the alternate?
Right now, it's woman Alexandra Schechter. She works in the Gloucester location, and I think the long-term plan is to kind of shepherd her through, and then over, the hope is that maybe not the first renewal, but maybe by the second renewal, she'll be taking over as the primary manager of the license. So she's listed as the secondary manager currently.
Is that going to be enough for the hours that you're in operation?
Yeah, she'll be able to be on premises when.
What happened if she's out sick?
Then my friend Jack here is going to have to get to Danvers. He has a really solid crew in Gloucester.
No, I understand. I'm
so-
sure he does, but life happens.
So it sounds like what I'm hearing is, you'd like to see us supplement on one more.
I'd like to have somebody as a backup on the license so that if you have an issue, she has an issue, there's somebody that can be there.
Yeah,
As well,
yeah.
he's back and forth.
We can get Adriano tip certified and get him listed. So
Is-
that's no problem. We can update that form prior to opening if we're so fortunate to get an approval.
Is that acceptable with you, Madam
Yes, it is.
Clerk?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll expect a third person. Okay, thank you.
Okay. What's the will of the board?
I move we accept the application as presented with the recommendations that we get finalized paperwork, correct the paperwork as discussed this evening.
Terrific. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much. and
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Thank you. Can't wait for that calamari. Tony, we'll meet there for lunch. All right.
Well, good.
He's in Danvers.
Next, we're going to go, a public hearing will be held under Chapter 138 of the general laws on the application of Blazing Wings, Inc., DBA Buffalo Wild Wings, 100 Independence Way, Joshua Metza, manager for a change of officers on all alcoholic common vehicular license at that location. Is the paperwork in order, Madam
The
Board?
paperwork is in order. There are no changes at the local level, so the applicant was not instructed to come tonight. It's all corporate change.
Okay. So, do I have a motion?
Is it a public hearing?
Oh, yes, let's.
I don't know.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Going to ask the public if they want to speak?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Does anybody want to speak on behalf of this?
Move we
Motion to
the
close.
Okay, motion to close. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I move we accept the change of corporate offices with no local
Change.
modifications.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Just one,
Terrific.
please.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, for clarifying that. All right, a public hearing will be held under Chapter 138 of the general laws on the application of AAM Kelly's Danvers LLC, DBA Kelly's Roast Beef Danvers, 165 Street, James Raja, manager for a transfer of wine and malt beverage license at that location. Madam Clerk? Is all the paperwork in order?
The paperwork is in order. This was presented to the board. The ABCC returned it due to deficiencies in some of the paperwork. They've resubmitted the entire packet. There's a memo that you were provided with a response from the Director of Management from Kelly's Roast Beef. And there's a gentleman here that's going to explain it.
Wonderful. Hi, welcome. Please
Evening, ladies and
introduce yourself.
Jim Rattay, Kelly's Roast Beef. I was here maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Not sure exactly what went wrong. I don't think they filled out a couple of lines on the application, and the ABC pushed it back. So I'm here this evening to answer any questions that you might have and see if we can move forward.
Wonderful. Gardner, do you have questions?
Yes. Are there any changes to the alternate listing dated 4/28/25?
Zero.
Okay. And everything else was in order at the time we talked about it. Thank you, I'm all set, thank you.
Mike?
No questions.
Dee?
No questions, thank you.
Dan?
Thank you. Hi, Jim, how are you?
Nice.
Good to see you again. I guess it's pretty straightforward. ABC made the corrections, they made the corrections. Sounds fine.
Yes.
Okay, I don't have any questions here. This is a public hearing. Does anybody in the audience have any comments? Okay, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What's the will of the board?
Move we accept the application as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. All right, let's see. All right, now, the board will hear from the town manager acts review committee. And welcome, and please introduce yourself. Nice to see you.
Good evening. My name is Sally Calhoun. I was appointed the chair of the Town Manager Review Acts Committee, which has been a great honor to be a part of. Several members of the committee are here with me tonight, including Natalie Fiore from Precinct 2, John Almeida from Precinct 3, Mary Beth Very from Precinct 4, Fawn Anderson from Precinct 6, Mike Matvichuk from Precinct 8, and also Mike Trainer is here, who was probably the most frequent non-committee member at our meetings and helping us through some important issues. Did I miss anybody? So on behalf of the Town Manager Acts Review Committee, I'd like to thank the Select Board for placing our report on tonight's agenda. We are looking forward to sharing our report with you and with the entire town of Danvers. We're very excited about it. So on May 20, 2024, the annual town meeting voted to establish a citizens committee appointed by the town moderator for the purpose of reviewing as well as updating the Danvers Town Meeting Act and the Danvers Town Manager Act. Those two acts establish the representative town meeting and the strong town manager form of government which we have in Danvers. The vote in May of 2024 also instructed us to prepare a written report of our findings and conclusions. Also, town meeting voted to refer the citizens petition, which was before that meeting. They voted to refer that petition, it was regarding recall provisions, to our committee for review. The town moderator then appointed a committee of 10 consisting of 1 town meeting member per precinct, 1 at-large member, and 1 chairperson. And I've already given you the names of the committee members that are present. The ones who were unable to come tonight include Nova Samadai from Precinct 1, Don Gagnon from Precinct 5, Noah Levitt from Precinct 7, John Jaworski, who's the at-large member. It was a wonderful committee to work on. It was a great group of people. The Town Meeting Act was first adopted in 1930, and it changed Danvers from open town meeting to its current representative town meeting format. The Danvers Town Meeting Act was last reviewed over 50 years ago in 1973. The Town Manager Act, which was adopted in 1949, established our strong town manager form of government and was last updated almost 30 years ago in 1997. So our committee met 19 times from July 2024 to May of 2025 for a total of almost 40 hours. All our meetings were public. Our meetings were televised by DCAT, except the first one because I didn't know how to set that up. We had several invited guests and input of many citizens of the town who came to our meetings. We grappled with multiple viewpoints, debated all sides of the issues before us, and we worked hard to come to a consensus. Attached to our May 13, 2025 report are our recommendations for changes to the Town Meeting Act and the Town Manager Act, shown as redlined edits. Now, we delivered copies of our report to the Select Board back in May, and I should have asked before this about whether there are any more copies that might be available to members of the public, and I don't know the answer to that, but I'll try to find out. I'm sorry, I only have 1 copy with me tonight, but I'd be happy to make it available. Most of our proposed changes reflect the September 15, 2020 Board of Selectmen vote to change from a Board of Selectmen to a Select Board. Additional changes we are proposing expand pronouns to be more inclusive, and some of our proposed changes simply attempt to clarify language that we found confusing. So I've tried to just summarize our most significant proposed changes to you. Would you like me to go forward in that vein?
Please.
Thank you. So in the Town Meeting Act, in our process of reviewing and discussing the act, we were most concerned about finding ways to encourage more active participation by the citizens of the town of Danvers in governance and operation of the town, making sure that everyone has a voice and a way to become as involved as they wish. Town meeting is the town's legislative branch. It's vital for town meeting members to understand their role and to be prepared to represent the residents of their precincts at every town meeting. The committee believes town meeting members should be contact points and advocates for the residents of their precinct. It seems that concept of town meeting members having constituents to represent, that is the residents of their precinct, that idea of being representative of the residents seems to have been lost over the years, from probably back when representative town meeting was first introduced to the town. Our recommendations are intended to revitalize and re-emphasize that concept. For instance, Danvers currently has 8 precincts in town. by state law, each precinct can have no more than 4,000 residents, and our population right now is 28,087. So we're at 8. See what I've learned from you, Kathy? Some precincts, some of those 8 precincts, always have contested races because each annual election, we vote for 1/3 of the town meeting members for each precinct, except in a census year. So some precincts always have contested races, which means more than 1/3 of the town meeting members, more than 1/3 of the town meeting members have one or more candidates on the ballot. Other precincts, however, don't have sufficient candidates running to be town meeting members. So those precincts need to hold a caucus before each annual town meeting to try to bring another candidate or a couple candidates in to run for town meeting members. Just by way of example, the May 6, 2025 town meeting only had 2 of the 8 precincts with more candidates running for town member than there were vacancies. So we had 6 precincts that didn't have sufficient candidates running to fully fill the slot of town meeting members for that precinct. This kind of suggests to us as a committee that there's not sufficient knowledge or interest about the rationale for and the role of town meeting members. So we're suggesting that the Town Meeting Act be revised to reduce the number of town meeting members per precinct from 18, which it is currently, to 15. Now, we think that will help encourage and trigger more interest, more participation, more competition for those seats. That's our goal. And perhaps if we reduce to 15 per precinct and emphasize that representative constituency aspect, we can rekindle that interest in being town meeting members, and that higher interest and more competitive races may in time lead us back to 18 per precinct. But for now, we feel town meeting is a little too large, a little too unwieldy, a little too sluggish to get the work done. So our proposal, probably our biggest proposal, is to reduce town meeting members to 15 per precinct. Our second major suggestion in the Town Meeting Act is this. Currently, town meeting members do not have to pull nomination papers and gather 10 signatures in order to run for another term. They just need to let the town clerk know that they want to run again. We recommend requiring all town meeting member candidates to pull papers and get those 10 signatures. Again, we're trying to revitalize, reactivate the representative status of town meeting members. Third, we recommend inserting language in Section 12 of the Town Meeting Act to formalize the town moderator's current informational session for town meeting members in order to encourage, and that presentation should encourage active engagement and encourage town meeting members to meet with other town meeting members in their precinct and with the residents of their precinct. We think that presentation by the town meeting, by the town moderator, should be available electronically for those who cannot attend in person. We also recommend that Section 14 of the Act be changed to require that the Act be reviewed at least once every 20 years or sooner if voted by town meeting. On pages 5 to 7 of our report, we include other ideas and recommendations for the Town Meeting Act. One idea in particular is that we should have a town-wide forum where precinct members and residents, town meeting members of each precinct, can meet to discuss issues and concerns. We suggest it take place at Danvers High School, with each precinct having an assigned classroom to meet, and that meeting be during the first week of February in each year. That would allow time for precinct members to meet one another, time for constituents to come in and talk about any issues they have, and for the town meeting members to still be involved in the Finance Committee review of the budget. So we picked that date pretty deliberately. So in a nutshell, that's the gist of what we're suggesting for for changes in the Town Meeting Act. In the Town Manager Act, we dealt with three major issues. One was adding a recall election provision based on the citizens' petition that was filed by Mike Traynor. In our report, page 8 deals with our recall election discussion. And basically, our recommendation is to add a new Section 7 to the Town Manager Act to provide for recall elections. This section would apply to town-wide elected officials with more than 6 months remaining in their term of office. To start the process, 350 or more registered voters would have to file an affidavit with the town clerk containing the name of the office to be recalled and a statement of the grounds for recall. The town clerk would then provide the petitioners with copies of printed form petition ballots with the name of the person whose recall is sought and the grounds for the recall, as stated in the citizen's affidavit. This Section 7 clearly states that a vote of an elected official on any matter before that elected official's body would not constitute or shall not constitute valid grounds for recall. We debated long and hard about how specific we should be, about what grounds for recall should be. The committee finally came to the following language. While it is expected that the recall process set forth herein would only be used to address serious malfeasance or misconduct, the voters themselves shall individually determine whether the grounds listed for recall are sufficient. We didn't want to narrow the definition too much. We didn't want to broaden it too much. We didn't want to have it be so broad something could fall through the cracks. We didn't want it to be so narrow that it would make it impossible to do. We came to this language with a great deal of help from Mike Traynor, who is here and available to comment more if you'd like. From there, to move forward with a recall election, the petitioners, once approved by the town clerk, would have to obtain the signatures of at least 20% of the total number of registered voters in the town within 20 business days after the petition is issued by the town clerk. If the petitioners obtain those necessary signatures and return the signed petitions to town clerk, the registrars of voters would have to certify all the signatures, and then the town clerk would submit the recall petition to the board whose member is the subject of the recall. If the officer sought to be recalled does not resign within 5 days, then the select board would have to order an election. If a majority of the votes at the election are in favor of a recall, the person being recalled would be deemed removed from office immediately. Now, there's some more details in the section, but that's kind of the major sense of how it would work. The next change that we're suggesting in the Town Manager Act is to state that the town accountant is appointed by the town manager. The current Town Manager Act says that the town accountant is appointed by the select board, which probably made sense back when the act was first adopted. But currently, the town manager is the chief financial officer of the town, and the town manager should be able to create and assemble a team that can deal with policy in a manner that the town manager sees fit for the needs of the town. So we feel that it's important for the town manager to be the person that appoints the town accountant. And our final major change that we're suggesting is to remove the residency requirement from the town manager position. The committee received a lot of input on this issue, too. This is one of the issues we spent a lot of time talking about. And after much debate, the committee concluded that the residency requirement really is no longer needed in a day where we have so much electronic and online ways of keeping track of and in touch with one another. Also, the residency requirement unnecessarily limits the pool of potential candidates in the event of a vacancy. So while an argument could be made that residency might assure that a town manager is fully invested in the affairs of the town, again, in this age of social media and technology, that's not as big a concern as it might have been. A town manager must be fully invested in the affairs of the town and can do so without being physically present 24/7. To be an effective town manager, the town manager has to be informed and involved and physically present in the town during work hours. and for other significant events such as nighttime meetings. And if the select board finds the town manager is not sufficiently in touch with the town or engaged with the town, the select board has the authority to address that situation and take action if necessary. We included sections sprinkled throughout the Town Manager Act that provides for specific communication between the town manager and the select board. That recommendation is in response to concerns some residents shared regarding the need for open lines of communication between the select board and town manager. We recommend adding language to section 35 of the act, to encourage town meeting members to attend finance committee meetings. And we also recommend adding a new section that says that the Town Manager Act shall be reviewed at least once in every 20 years or sooner if so voted by town meeting, similarly to the time frame we set in the Town Meeting Act. Now, we also spent quite a bit of time, especially in our first couple of meetings, talking about the form of government here in Danvers. There was a lot of talk about, is representative town meeting and strong town manager form of government still the best form of government for the town? We had lots of opinions, lots of people had lots to say about it. We reached out to the town moderator for some clarification, and our mandate, as voted by town meeting in May of 2024, was to review the current acts and report back. If town meeting or this select board deem it necessary to consider other forms of government, that, in our mind, would be the work of a different type of committee than ours. I personally, and this is not the committee, but me personally, I feel that our current form of government, the representative town meeting, a select board, a strong town manager, works amazingly well for the town of Danvers. So I don't feel that I picked an issue up and put it down, and I'm disappointed in that. I think that we have a very well-run town. I'd like to open more doors for people to feel they can come and speak up for whatever their issue is in town, from school buses to what field they're playing soccer in, to finance committee meetings, to the diversity committee that we have in town. There's lots of ways to get involved. We just have to help people find them, in my opinion. So it has been a wonderful honor to work on this. Several members of the committee are here if you have any questions. As I said, Mike Trainer, who's the author of and the instigating force behind the recall provision, please feel free to ask away.
Well, thank you, Sally, and I can't thank the committee enough for all your hard work. Really. A lot of hours, a lot of thought. Select board members, we're going to have the opportunity to ask any questions to Sally. The town council is also here if there's any legal questions, and then we'll refer it to the town manager for some timelines afterwards. Gardner, do you have any questions or any points?
No, I want to thank you for all the hard work. Thank you very much. For all of the thought that went into this, the care that went into this, the debates. I attended a couple of the meetings, so I was a witness to some of it. Many of these things I'm happy to embrace. A couple of them I'm going to dig deeper into. One of the questions when you mentioned moving from 18 back to 15, I want to go and find out when we went from 15 to 18 and whether that's mandated by law as a percentage of the population in a precinct. So I'm not sure if that's the case. I know that when somewhere in the past 18 or 19 years, when we've gotten a new census, and at that time Joe had to figure out along with Kathy, had to figure out the precinct lines and what streets moved and to what precinct and so on and so forth. It was not only a balance of equalizing the precincts in number, but I also thought it was for the best of my recollection, I thought it was a percentage, representation was a percentage of the number of people in the precincts.
Well, it's interesting because our population really hasn't changed a whole lot for many years. Kathy knows all the numbers, but I'm surprised when I read the population because I remember looking it up when I first moved to Danvers. Oh, when was that? Back in 1985.
But we may have been slow to change. We may have been slow to change based on population changes. But I just want to find out the facts.
Sure. Absolutely.
A couple of the other ones that jump out at me, I'm well familiar with the recall petition. I was the original author, and this board didn't take up as a citizen's petition, and it was passed on. I do have a concern, and I'll read it again. I want to make sure that a reason for a recall cannot be that a person is doing their job as elected. You may not like the vote I take. You may not like the position I have on some of these issues, but that alone is not a reason for recall. When you say malfeasance, when you say, I want to be very cautious that this is not an easy task to partake in. And I think between the number of signatures you have to get, that's a high, high hurdle. So it's not going to be like, I don't like the fact that Gardner does something, whatever it is. It's not, I don't like that person. It has to be for reasons that are malfeasance, illegalities, but I also heard the concerns of people in the past when I presented it, and then later, before the iteration you see now, of innocence before proven guilty. So if someone is accused of something, do we take action based on the accusation, or should we wait until that plays out in court? If someone's accused of stealing money from the town, from some illegality, do we act on the premise that they're innocent until proven guilty, or we don't like that they were even charged? So I'll be digging deep into that, and when we have our workshops and our discussions, I just want you to know that these are the kind of things I'll be looking at. The town accountant is hired by the town manager, but the language is that they are accountable to the select board, and I want that distinction maintained.
If I may.
Yep.
It's interesting because the town accountant, as are other positions in town, for instance, the director of public health, have responsibilities under Massachusetts law regardless of who appoints them. Mm-hmm. And so a town accountant, there's probably several statutes that apply, and they would be obligated to report to the select board of anything that was not correct or not right that the town accountant became aware of. So the fact that our language is suggesting that the town accountant be appointed by a town manager does not take away that statutory obligation that a town accountant would have.
There's a difference between the employment hierarchy and the responsibility to report. And we only, as select board members, only have the ability to, we currently only hire the town manager. That's the only hire we ever make. We have no other authority in personnel issues. From the town manager down, that's her responsibility now. But
well, I'm sorry, the town manager act currently says that the town accountant is appointed by the select board. That's why we're proposing a change.
I want the ability for the town accountant, as you said, to be able to report to the select board without having to go through the town manager. I want, if they feel that there's a fundamental issue with the way the town's finances are going, I want them to have the latitude to come to the select board without skipping their hierarchy boss. And I think there's a distinction to be made there. And I'm just letting you know I'll be digging deeper into those as
Sure.
well. And as far as the my suggestions will be, as far as the residency, I'm all for the town manager not having to live in town. However, I would want it to be the town or a touching town, a surrounding town. I would not feel comfortable hiring a town manager who lived in, Epping, New Hampshire, or lived in another, 4 towns away. There is a necessity. I agree. There are safeguards and there are professionals when we have emergencies that the town manager, relies on. But if you're 10 or 15 minutes away and you live in Peabody and you have a family home that's been in your family forever, I don't think that we should penalize your ability to work in Danvers. And I think you're absolutely right. It dilutes the pool, or it minimizes the pool of potential candidates. So I would be fine with residency of Danvers or a surround town. Those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gardner. Dan?
Thank you. Thank you, Sally, and members of the committee for all the work you did. You're right, your mandate was to review the Town Manager Act and the Town Meeting Act. I have a couple of questions, but before I ask those questions, you referenced the town meeting member should represent their precinct. And I would offer Andrea Daly as a perfect example of a town meeting member that represented her constituents in her precinct.
Jim Morose is another one.
Jim Morose is another one, yes. So we've been fortunate to have Bill Nicholson and others in town meeting that understand that role as a town meeting member. On the town meeting, I'm sorry, I'll start with the Town Manager Act, page 25, section 26, the tree warden. Did you have any discussions why the tree warden is listed in the,
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, we did, and we had no idea.
right, and I don't understand why it's there either. I mean, why not DPW director, utility director? So you just didn't understand it and just left it?
Well, the tree warden is to be appointed by the town manager, and that warden shall have all the powers and perform all the duties conferred. So I'm sure it's a very important job, and I'm sure we benefit greatly from it. I mean, there's lots of trees in towns, and and there's problems, I'm sure, from time to time, and it's good to know there's somebody who's the point person. But I couldn't tell you historically where it came from.
And I don't want to say something off line, but it seems to me that goes back to early colonial times, the way of the coal, the field driver,
The fence watchers.
French watcher. I mean, the tree warden has a specific job and does a great job, but I don't see where it falls under the importance of being in the act itself. In the review of the Town Meeting Act, did you have conversation about the role of FinCom in our town government and compare it to other communities?
We certainly did talk a lot about the role that FinCom plays. I don't recall that we compared it with the way other towns operate in terms of their finance committees. I know in some communities they hold a much stronger position than they do in town, in this town, in Danvers. But no, we didn't explore much beyond that I recall. If any of my fellow members.
Okay. As you stated, the mandate was to review, and I just questioned, could you have done more review?
Probably, and we'd be happy to do more. Right now, I understand by turning in our report, our committee's work is done. We'd have to kind of be reappointed or something to go further into issues. But, I'd be happy personally to track down a few of these, like the tree warden, for instance, if you'd like.
Well, it's not what I like.
If the board.
At the board. And as we move forwards with the other committees as we meet. All right, we'll kind of just leave that as the hanging chad for now. But thank you, Sally, for your work.
Or Chad. Thank you.
Dee, do you have questions on?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally, and thank you to the committee members. I did watch most of the deliberations, so
They were great, weren't they?
they were amazing. How many? I know you're an attorney, but how many attorneys do you have in that group?
2, I believe, right? Just 2 of us?
I mean, it was just incredible. The back and forth was really fun, and thank you so much.
It was an amazing committee to be a part of, but I've got to say the thing that I know I'm most impressed and proud of is that we didn't all have the same opinion. And there were times we would deal like 4 meetings with one issue.
Exactly.
But everybody treated everybody else with such a sense of respect and welcoming other points of view and trying to address and honor and not just say, oh, that's stupid, let's do so. Everybody was heard, and the committee came to a consensus in things that were difficult to do. But it was an amazing example of people sitting together, respecting one another, and doing some really solid work.
Totally agree. And I also like to take this opportunity for a big shout out to DCAT for broadcasting those meetings. Greg Dolan, Owen, Ben Thomas. I mean, it's so important. It's a jewel we have in our community to be able to attend some of those meetings without being there in person. During your deliberation, I mean, I watched most of it, but there were not a lot of discussions about, we talk about the 18 members for town meeting. The precincts where there are contested race, and then there are other precincts where there's not enough people. What's your thought about the fact that if we decrease to 15, we will be penalizing the precincts where people actually want to serve?
We were very concerned about that. We were concerned about whether a decrease would mean that the residents of the town would have less of a voice because there are fewer representatives for that precinct in town meeting. As I said, we talked about this for many, many meetings, but we felt that by reducing it and trying to make the races more competitive and trying to share more information so that town meeting members can be even more well-informed than they are now, that might make the body work more effectively than it does at the 18-member number. But it was a very tough call.
Yeah.
We didn't want to leave any voices unheard or any constituents underrepresented. And at least in my mind, I don't remember it being a big discussion at our meetings, but I don't know why, for instance, just our last annual election, why the 2 precincts that had more candidates than there were seats, why they were successful at having, a competitive race where others didn't. I didn't analyze what was going on in each precinct to try to find out why that might be.
Yeah, I will be leaning more toward finding ways to address that and encourage more people to be involved. I would say, I don't know if geography has it. I mean, I used to be in precinct 8, now it's 6, and that part of the town, Center Street, heading toward Middleton, Houghton area, it could be, I don't know if it's because of the highway dividing that part of the town from downtown, but I think we may want to stress out the importance of having people involved and maybe keep it the way it is so that the precincts that have contested races do not lose that ability. And furthermore, when I was trying to picture the logistics as to how this works, we will have these as warrant article, go to FinCom, go to town meeting, and pretty much those town meeting members will be voting to be ousted.
Right.
So
Yes.
it's almost
Yes,
like we're saying vote to lose your job.
That's probably one of our biggest concerns. But one of the problems with it is right now, we talked about going to 18 to 15 and people not being as represented. But right now, there are precincts, even after that caucus at the beginning of town meeting, still don't have 8 members. There are precincts right now that have less than 8 town meeting members represented them. So there already is an underrepresentation in some of the precincts. But you're right, it's a very, I'm trying to think of a word I can say. It's a pretty striking thing for our committee to say to town meeting, oh, by the way, vote some of yourselves out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we realize that's quite a dynamic.
I would definitely be leaning toward encouraging more people and finding ways for town meeting members to be more involved. As far as the 10 signatures for incumbent town meeting members, again, the more burden we put on people, the more people will be like, this is not for me. I have kids, I have this going on. Maybe I know the town clerk keeps the attendance, and this is just a thought, and I don't know if your committee thought of it. Because people get elected, and sometimes they never show up to town meeting, and I think that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't attend 50% of town meetings, then you need to collect the 10 signatures to be incumbent, or something like that, so that there's an incentive for people to actually not only attend the meeting, but decrease that burden into coming back to be town meeting again.
It's really great points, because again, it's counterintuitive to think, okay, there's not enough active engagement, so we're going to make everybody get 10 signatures.
Exactly.
And I can see that argument, but on the other hand, most town meeting members are appointed for 3-year term, and to ask them after 3 years of being a town meeting member to get 10 signatures isn't overly burdensome, and might invigorate that town meeting member to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to run for this office again, and I'm going to, you know, I mean, we're hoping it'll make the town meeting member slots seem like there's such a special thing. Everybody's going to want it.
Mm. Yeah, and then the number of years, the last time this was touched was 1997, which is about 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any discussion about keeping it at 30 years?
Well,
because 20 years is not a long time.
We felt 30 years was way too long. That was one thing. The census, of course, is every 10 years.
Exactly.
And a lot of things can change with each census. So we felt, I mean, some of us thought it should be shorter than 20 years. We kind of based it on, okay, 2 census periods out is when people should look at things again. But we wanted to include the ability for town meeting to vote to do it sooner than that. But we think going more than 20 years is a disservice, because we had to struggle with some of the language, try to figure out what does this mean and where did it come from, and it was hard. And we think that going more than 20 years is not good for the town.
And for my own understanding, the town accountant, so how does it work now?
Well, you all can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that the Town Manager Act currently states that the town accountant is appointed by the select board. And that seemed what's the word, inefficient to us, because the town accountant has to be part of the finance team that the town manager runs as the chief fiscal officer of the town. And you need to have kind of a seamless chain of command and everybody, you know, on board with the same policies and procedures, et cetera. It seemed to us, it made much more sense to have town accountant hired by the town manager. And as I said to our committee during our discussions about it, the town accountant would still have those statutory obligations in terms of reporting to the select board. I don't have those at my fingertips tonight, but anyway, but that's how it works currently, is my understanding.
Okay. And to you, Madam Chair, and I don't know, maybe I'll rely on Select Board Member Gardner or Dan. Historically, the current town accountant, did you go through like an interview process or?
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to make comment. The last town accountant we hired, or the town manager hired, as chair, I participated in the interview process.
Okay, but you said the last time the town manager hired.
The town manager did the hire, but as chairman, I was involved in the interview process to be involved.
Okay. So even though the act stipulated that it was a select board hire, it seems to me that it was a town manager hire.
Correct.
In practice. Is that a fair assumption? Okay.
It is.
So pretty much we'll be changing the act to reflect the current practice.
Yes.
And then the statutory obligation of the town, the accountant will still stay with the state.
We have legal counsel here, too, if we have any questions about statutory regulations.
Is that correct?
That's what my understanding would be.
Okay. Okay, perfect. I think that was the last, I think I had one more. No, other ones could just wait. No, thank you. That's all for me. And thanks again for all you did and
Thank
the
you.
committee. That was amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Mike?
Hi, thank you very much. I know everybody participated in a lot of time and a lot of work. And it's the work you've done, I appreciate very much. It's helped me to understand what's going on too, you know? A couple of thoughts. I didn't see that it was mentioned in there, and I might have just missed it, term limits for different positions, just to try to keep everything fresh. I'm not sure if that should be in there or not.
Well, it's kind of interesting because term limits, to me, suggest elected positions. Am I
Yes.
right? And so these acts don't deal with, there's not a spot to put in anything about term limits, say, for select board members. We talked a little bit about whether or not to have term limits for town meeting and felt, and did not go in that direction for a number of reasons. One is, again, we're even though we're talking about reducing the number and making them get 10 signatures, we don't want to discourage town meeting members. We want to encourage them to come and be the best town meeting members they can be. So we didn't want to put some arbitrary number of times you can run in it, because that seemed even more discouraging than what you find here. So, and also, we have all experienced in town meeting that some of our most senior town meeting members bring some of the most incredible depth and history and warmth to the meetings. So it seemed unnecessary to put term limits for town meeting members.
Yes, yeah, good point, yeah. And another question, and it's kind of a general question, on some of the other committees that are appointed, should they be elected positions? And I'm willing to hear an answer from anybody. Just to maybe give townspeople more say in what's going on versus an appointed position.
If I may.
Yes.
So our form of government currently, by the act that was adopted by the town back in, 48, 49, was for strong town managers. So the town manager appoints department heads, the police chief, the fire chief, the head of the DPW, all that stuff. And that is instead of having those positions elected. We feel, or I feel, and our job again was not to change form of government, but was to address the founding language that created our current. But if those positions, say the police chief, or the head of the DPW, or the town clerk, were elected positions, it would really change the face of those positions, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I don't think we spent very much time talking about this with the committee, so please don't consider this committee talk. This is Sally Calhoun talk. That by being able to have the one administrator, responsible person in the town, be the one appointing those positions, we take any politics out of it. We make it be very professional. That to get those positions, you have to satisfy the town manager that you're qualified and that you're doing your job right. And if the town manager finds you're not, boom, you're out here. And a different professional, fire chief, police chief, head of DPW is going to be brought in. So to me, it professionalizes all those positions. It's just one person's opinion. But it goes back to, okay, what does strong town manager, form of government mean? And that's one aspect of it. And even before that, select boards were the ones that appointed, hired, supervised, oversaw. And can you imagine, as busy as you guys are now, if you were the ones having to appoint those positions? So it's a question of how you feel the government in your town should work. It's a form of government question.
Thank you. Yeah, that would probably politicize things worse. If we were
It might.
hiring some of those people, it could easily be handled incorrectly. And on, to ask you a question, Dan, when you took part of the town accountant hire, you, as the chairperson, you recommended or didn't recommend, or how did that?
Agreed.
Agreed?
If I didn't agree,
Yeah.
I would have said so.
Yeah. I guess.
Working in conjunction with the town manager to
Yes.
enable he or she to do their job, but with input from this board.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at. And I think
Right.
that as long as, if the town manager wants to appoint somebody, if we can at least have an opinion, doesn't mean
Well,
we
that's
have
an
to go on it.
that's the only time that you would be involved in
Yeah.
something like that, because of the Town Manager Act and the language.
Right.
But once we change that, then we won't be involved in the hiring process, nor should we be involved.
Right.
Because as you just said, it would be very political.
Thank you, Sally.
By the way, to that question of accountability and with input from this board, our committee is recommending changes in several subsections of Section 14 of the Town Manager Act. Let me see if I can find a page number. So Section 14 begins on page 13 of the red line version. And in subsections B, C, D, F, and K, we've recommended language that provides for specific communication from the town manager to the select board. For instance, Section 14B deals with the town manager's authority to consolidate, reorganize, abolish boards, commissions, departments, et cetera. That's all under the direction and supervision of the town manager. We added to the end that the town manager would notify or shall notify the select board of that kind of change. In C, which deals with the town manager having the authority to appoint and remove employees, except those of the school department and the library, and except those under civil service. The town manager can remove employees, but we've said it, that the town manager would notify the select board of every such appointment and removal, consistent with privacy laws. Section D, the town manager fixes the compensation of town officers and employees who are subject to removal by town manager. And again, we've added that the town manager shall notify the select board on an annual basis of compensation of all town officials and employees who are subject to removal by town manager. In fact, that already happens with the budget process. But because there was some concern about communication flow between this board and town manager's office, we just put some things in. Tried to keep it general, tried not to add to the burden of being town manager, tried to make it things that actually already happen or in formats that can easily be turned over. We've suggested in Section F that it already says the town manager shall keep full and complete records of the office of town manager and render as often as may be required by the select board a report of operations, but we've added that it would be at least monthly. That kind of thing. So we sprinkle that throughout, especially this section.
Madam Chairman, if I may follow up on Sally's comments there. I go a little further on page 17K. The manager shall keep the board informed regarding any such litigation. And I'm going to ask that we add language that says in a timely manner. And it would be up to the board to decide if they were informed in a timely manner or not.
I mean, it's certainly your purview.
That's what I'm going to ask for.
To that point, Dan, none of these kind of set a timeline. And the reality is, it's not saying you have to do it before a HR decision is made. You're not looking for, the town manager isn't going to the select board for approval per se. They have the latitude to take the action.
Correct.
And then tell us afterwards, I've let person X go for these reasons. So it's more of an informational as opposed to,
Well, I'm not going to get into
Authority.
examples at this time, but
right.
there's a
That was
specific.
deliberate. That was deliberate, by the way, because the town manager has these authorities and powers per the Town Manager Act currently, and we didn't want to infringe upon them or encroach upon them in any way. But we thought it would be, again, because of some of the comments we were getting, it would be helpful to just say, and shall notify the Select Board. Not that they'd seek the approval of, but just notify. That was deliberate.
Okay. Well, do you want to say something?
Yes,
Dave?
please. I remember what I wanted to ask. The recall petition, is it for, you said it's for every town-wide offices. That includes school committee and library trustee, or is it just select board?
No, it's every elected position in town. So yes, it would include the school committee, it would include the library board, and it would include the select board.
And the moderator.
And the moderator. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. I definitely think, I mean,
But excluding town meeting members. It does not affect town meeting members.
okay. Yeah, I do, I mean, I don't know what the language should look like, but I think having something like this in the books will be important. I think it's also a form of accountability for us as elected officials to know that, you know, we have to do right by the resident. And the last thing was the residency requirement. The meeting that I watched, there were some discussions about having some kind of radius. Like maybe you can live within 10 miles of Danvers or within half hour. And how did you all come to the conclusion of just removing it altogether? What was the thought process behind that?
Each one of those ideas, a contiguous town or community was one. Another was a mile radius, 10, should be 10, should be 20, should be 30, should be within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Each one of those just seemed so random that you could poke holes into what would or wouldn't work. It didn't seem to make sense. What seemed to make sense most to us as a committee, and it wasn't, I mean, it took a long time for us to get to this point, but to vote that it should be, residency should not be required, but also a reminder that the town manager, of course, serves at the pleasure of the board, which is such a weird phrase, but the board appoints and can discipline and can terminate the position of the person in the position of town manager. And so we felt that because the select board has that power, if the person they hired was not a resident, but lived 15 miles away, if the board found that that person wasn't around enough or didn't really know what was going on in town or hadn't done enough to reach out and try to become a part of the fabric of the town, the select board could address that as the employer. That seemed to us to be the best way, as opposed to coming up with an arbitrary, random number.
But may I interrupt? Excuse me,
Sure.
Madam Chair. The select board hires the town manager. There's a lot of qualifications, requirements that we'll look at. And if we have 3 candidates, and one lives 50 miles away, one lives 20 miles away, that will be part of our determination in who we will hire or not hire.
Sure.
But we don't want to limit the number of people who will apply for the position. And it will be up to future boards to hire the best qualified person. Not necessarily base it on where they live, but that will be a factor.
But to follow up on that, Dan, if we don't in some way enumerate that, and I'm going to ask maybe through you, Madam Chair, to the legal counsel, do we open ourselves up to reproach because it's just subjective? If 2 people being relatively the same, having the same experience, it was a tough choice, the last choice. I wasn't here, but it was a tough choice, the last choice. Everyone had a different perspective and pros and cons. If we say we aren't going to hire you because you're 50 miles away, or 100 miles away, whatever it is, do we open ourselves to some form of legal reproach in that way?
That's a good point, but we probably
you,
wouldn't
town
say,
council,
we
want-
probably wouldn't say we're not hiring you because you live 50 miles away.
I get it, but
Do you, we could hire someone that lives in Danvers, and then, or someone can move to Danvers in an Airbnb for 6 months. We hire them, and then they move to Worcester.
right.
What do we do? So
That's a
my
good point as
concern
well.
with having a radius is the fact that, I mean, there are people who live in Peabody. We will get to Danvers faster than some people who live in Danvers.
Yes.
We will get to the town hall. So having the radius, I think, is something that will be very hard to control. Because, yeah, you could live in Peabody, and then you get higher, you move out of Peabody, so do we fire you because you move out?
That's an excellent point about you were hired because you were going to be here, or I like the contiguous myself, but there's also economics involved. And now you're asking someone to move to town and buy a home in town that may not have the ability to do so. You know, so, and like I said, maybe they have a family home in Peabody.
I think we should defer this to town council. Could you go up, Kate? Yes, please, yes. Introduce yourself.
Just one, while we're waiting,
Thank you.
one thought that came to me as we were discussing it is, I think the no residence restriction also sends a message to the world of potential town manager candidates of the professionalism that the town's looking for. Just wanted to toss that out. Not that residents are not professional, because they certainly are, but to have an open pool sends a message, I think, to candidates.
Through you, Madam Chair, to the previous speaker, Selectman Trask, you're not going to be subject to
Can
liability.
she introduce herself to the public?
I'm sorry, Kate Connolly, Town Council with Murphy, Hesse, Toomey, and Lahane. I've been doing municipal law for 33 years, but I'm very new to the firm. One of my former colleagues asked me to join, and it was perfect timing, so that's why I'm here instead of David, which frees him up for certain other things. So the town would not be liable for asking multiple questions of someone and not hiring somebody if they're 50 miles away, even if you have a no residency requirement, because there are a number of things you're going to consider when determining who the town manager is going to be. And as one selectman already said, you're not going to say something like, oh, we're not hiring you because you live far away, because you're smarter than that. But it's certainly a legitimate concern if somebody lives so far away that they're not able to get here. But it would never be the only thing that you would decide on. So I think whatever you decide that you want to put, and many towns don't have a residency requirement for the very reason that you want to have a wide candidate pool. So whatever criteria you want to put, if you want to just leave it as no requirement that you be a resident, or if you want to do something more specific, it's quite possible that some of them are too random, but it's not a legal thing. It would be legal whatever you decided to do in terms of making a radius or something like that, but I agree it's not necessarily practical. But to the direct answer to your question, no, you wouldn't be held liable for choosing someone who lived closer, presuming they have multiple other things that make them the better candidate as well.
But I guess just to follow up, because Dee made an excellent point, if we don't enumerate in some way a location or a radius or whatever you want to call it, and they decide to move, we have no, that's not grounds for, for action. If we don't have some statement of, we want you nearby, local, however you phrase it, and they do decide to move to Worcester, yes, it makes their work difficult if they decide they want to drive every day from Worcester to here. We wouldn't be able to use that as a condition for reapprising their.
You could buy out their contract. Be done with them. If they don't want the job, let them go.
Okay, if you want.
But, Kate?
If I may, regardless of where the person sleeps at night, you could terminate someone if they're not showing up for work or for meetings or for whatever you need them for. So you don't have to couch it as you don't live close enough. It's just you're not here enough.
I'm
They can
thinking
live
about the
wherever they want.
emergency situations, obviously. I think we're all, the explosion or some other emergency situation where someone should be here as soon as possible. within reason. But, okay, thank you.
Anybody have any other questions for Kate while she's up? Dee?
No, thank
Okay,
you.
all right. Sally, I can't thank you and the committee enough. My board members have raised a lot of concerns. You know, I did watch some of it too. It was fascinating how, you know, some people wanted it this way, other people didn't want it, to get everybody together. That's great. You know, I would be concerned too about the town accountant. Section 22, town accountant, Section 3, reports to the select board. To me, you know, leave this unchanged. This allows the check and balance with the accountant to report to the select board. And, you know, also the residency requirement. I like hearing what everybody has to say too. So that's something that we will be talking about and deliberating with. The temporary moderator and the absence of the moderator, leave that unchanged. How did you come to that, really?
This is the change for the moderator?
Yes.
Well, you know, it's funny, that engendered a lot of discussion. And can you point me to where that is? Just
I think it's Section 6, I believe. Town Meeting Act, Section 6, temporary moderator in the absence of the moderator.
So that's in the Town Meeting Act, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, among the town meeting, yeah, town meeting members. Page 8.
Yep,
Yep,
I'm there, thank
yep,
you. It took
yep.
me a minute.
No, that's okay, no, take your time, everybody's getting tired.
So, some of the members of the committee were concerned because it just said that if the, you know, the moderator runs the town meetings, and if the moderator is absent, the current Town Meeting Act says a moderator pro tem can be elected by the town meeting members. And we wanted to make it clear that it was the town meeting members voting, and they had to vote from among the town meeting members. There was some concern that they could vote somebody that's not even a town meeting member, could vote for somebody that's, you know, who people didn't know who it possibly would be. So to narrow the potential candidates, we narrowed it to a town meeting member. There was concern that it could be, the way the language is currently, they could vote anybody in as the moderator pro tem.
That's great, thank you. And the residency requirement, too, that's something we'll be looking at, too, you know, that I have questions about, too. Anybody else at this point?
Yes, just a quick
Sure.
clarification. On that moderator, when we say it has to be a town meeting member, that includes select board members. Is that correct?
It does, yep.
So if I may, Madam Chairman, the last time that happened, Peter Zook had to step down for a particular item. The town meeting body elected, I think, David McKenna as a selectman to be the town moderator for that particular article. Very simple. That's the history behind it.
We love the history, Dan, that's good, thank you. Well, anything else, Sally?
Well, again, it was just an honor to be part of the committee, and I'm so proud of the committee members. So many of them are here tonight, and the ones that can't be here were for very particular reasons. They worked very hard, very dedicated group. I'm really proud of the work that the whole committee did. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
So that's just round one.
That's round one. So can the town manager just let the public know the timelines moving forward, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the review committee for all your work. I look forward to watching the board and town meeting dive into the work. So the next, for the board, the next deadline, so we have asked, the chair has asked that members submit proposals for any changes that are not included in the committee's recommendations to be submitted in writing to either to both Ann in the town manager's office and Kathy in the clerk's office by September 29th, so that we can have a chance for town council to review if necessary and for your colleagues to have a chance to review. If, as I assume during dialogue, other things come up, obviously other proposals are welcome, but the goal is to have the opportunity for members of the board to review before deliberations. At the October 7th board meeting, the select board will begin deliberations, continue through October, and as of now, we have time at each meeting through October and November, and a public hearing date. So the opportunity, I know the public was involved in the review committee's process, and thank you for being so open to that. The opportunity for the board or for the public to participate at this level is tentatively scheduled for December 16th, will be the public hearing on the warrant. And then we are waiting dates from the Finance Committee on when they will host their public hearing. So we are anticipating work on this at each meeting through the months of October and November.
We're going to be busy. It's going to be great. I mean, remember, we're digging into something that hasn't been changed in 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you very much. All right, at this time, the board, which one we're on 11, the town manager will report to the board on various items of interest. Ms. Town Manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I usually try to keep it short, but I've got a lot for you tonight. So start with the trash strike. I think everybody knows by now, they have come to a resolution. They have resumed all typical services as of Monday. We did release today, so we were working with them related to yard waste and bulky items, the two outstanding items. Because the program for bulky items had been on hold, we're expecting a large amount. So we're asking that for the week of September 29th, anyone who currently holds a bulky item sticker, they can start scheduling pickup for the week of September 29th, and then we'll open sales of new stickers and scheduling on the week of October 6th. And we anticipate that the leaf pickup that is scheduled in October, which I believe is the week of the 12th, that will be picked up on time. Again, we may see some backups on, I don't think as much here in Danvers because we've been pretty successful, but I know other communities are anticipating slow routes because of additional items that have been stored. But I think here in Danvers, and thank you so much to the residents have been incredibly patient and as we navigated this, and so I think we'll be in good shape to restore services as usual, ASAP. I wanted to inform, as is my duty, the select board that we recently signed on to the opioid settlement documents for both the Purdue manufacturer and the secondary manufacturers. This is in addition to, we are currently signed on to the Johnson & Johnson. There is no further action needed by the select board or town meeting at this time. My job is to report to you, and then I just want to update you that my office, the health department, and the Board of Health are working on a proposed plan for the use of the funds, and we'll update you when we have progress on that. I wanted to report on clickers for town meeting because it seemed like it was time. It's an appropriate time to do it because if it's something that this board would like to consider through the work that we're doing with Town Manager and Town Meeting Act would be an appropriate time. I want to thank you, Ms. Stevens, for your research. It was accurate. She provided it to the board. If anybody still needs a copy, I have a copy, and I know Kathy has a copy. So please feel free to reference that. I did some follow-up research. I think the points I want to point out for us in Danvers, many of the reasons that I found in the other communities that they are using them, several of them are opportunities that we already have in our town meeting rules. One of them being operations and efficiency. We run a pretty efficient town meeting. I do anticipate at the beginning of use would increase time on either end as we get used to using them. But I think the town meeting itself runs pretty efficiently, so I think it would be similar over time. Just at the beginning, it'd be a little tougher. The cost we'd have to look into whether we're going to rent or buy. The most recent towns that I saw, Andover, appropriated $40,000 to rent them per year. I think that may be higher than we need. But that's Andover. But the cost will likely be, we'd have to make a decision between buying and renting. Cost will likely be between $20,000 and $40,000. I think one of the quotes I saw was $25,000. The idea of one of the things that was a common theme through the other municipalities was the use of electronic voting for privacy reasons, so that town meeting members can vote their conscience. I know there was discussion here about whether one of the opposite, would you use electronic voting so that people can be held accountable? So that's a topic that this board would have to tackle if they're going to bring it up for discussion. Town council would, of course, be available to help navigate what needs to be changed, what questions we need to answer, and all of that. I will say that many of the other communities that I looked into had created committees to explore the options and make a recommendation to the select board, usually appointed by the moderator. So that's another option as you go through deliberations, that's another route that you may choose to take. So happy to answer. I have some knowledge on the research I did, but happy to answer or find further information if any board members are looking for that.
Thank you.
Mr. Bradstreet, I have some answers on your trees. At Pope's Landing. You weren't here when we first started. I was concerned. You were late. So they said, DPW Travis said the removal was delayed until the fall schedule, mostly because how busy the landing is in the summer. So you'll see the dead trees being removed this fall. And with new fall planting replacements being installed, they do have the green bags on newly planted trees to help support them, and they are replenished with water once a week by staff. Thank you. You're welcome. Citizens Academy, the town manager and the select board chair, and of course the clerk, because she's one of the stars of the first night. We all attended the first night. It is underway, and this is week 3. We were thrilled to meet the new candidates and be involved in that first program. So we're thrilled that the cohort is moving along. A couple of upcoming events: Unified Sports Basketball Game on September 30th at 4 p.m. at Danvers High School. We hope everyone will join us. I will be there. As you learned tonight, Public Power Open House October 2nd at 2 Borough Street, 4 to 7 p.m. The 4th Annual Celebration, hosted by the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee, is October 4th, 5 to 8 at the high school atrium. Come by and enjoy food, music, kids' activities, artwork by Danvers students, and conversation with new and old friends. The event is free and open to the public. Remember to Joko, I should have brought the details about the Taekwondo tournament that we discussed, and I don't have them here, so if you wanted to share, I have them on my phone if you wanted to. There is a Taekwondo tournament happening, international tournament, and I believe it's Columbus Day weekend. It starts that Saturday at Danvers Indoor Sports, if you wanted to add.
That's correct, yes. I said during the last meeting, it's the first time that tournament is happening in the U.S., and it's going to be in Danvers, so I'll urge all the select board members to attend the opening ceremony. That's going to be at 11:30 on Saturday the 11th.
Thank you. I will be there. And just a couple of reminders, as we just reviewed, if you can get any new proposals to us about the town manager, town meeting acts by September 29th, that would be fantastic. At last meeting, Aaron Henry presented the changes to the traffic rules and orders. I just want to remind the committee to please get any questions or follow-up you need from us. I will send an email to if you have any questions or follow-up or other suggested changes, please get it to us as soon as possible. We are expecting a public hearing on October 21st, I believe, Madam Clerk. I think so.
Okay.
They need it for posting time. So we are here to help as you navigate that. So if you have questions, please reach out to myself and Aaron.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Jill. At this point, the board will consider the consent calendar items as they appear.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you. Correspondence, Select Board, new business, previous new business, updates, Select Board closing comments. Gardner, would you like to start?
I actually haven't received any correspondence since our last meeting, and I'm all set, thank you.
Mike?
No, I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Okay. Dee?
Yes, I do have a couple of PSA information here. On Saturday, September 27th, there's a North Shore Health Exposition at Essex Tech from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and that's put together by our state rep Sally Kerens and June Lovely. Open to the public, kids, adult. They will have a lot of resources about insurance, health, vaccines, like anything, food. It's at Essex Tech from 9 to 1. So if you can attend, at least to get some of the giveaways, that'll be good. I know they have over 100 organizations that will be present, including Mass General Salem Hospital. To you, I was thinking the committee that work on the Town Manager Act, I don't know, should we consider giving them, those members, like a letter of commendation for their work? I did watch the meetings. I think it was, they really put the time, the commitment, the energy. I don't know how that will work, but I think having a thank you letter from the select board will be a good thing.
Very
Just
good.
food for thought. That's it. Thank you.
Dan?
I have no correspondence or new updates.
Well, you're just back from vacation, that's why.
Well, I can't update everybody on that. See me afterwards.
I know, all right. I just want to say thank you for everybody that's here tonight. Thank you for the committee. Thank you for board members. Thank you to the town manager for a project that she really did not know she was going to get into with the trash. And when I tell you she was the face, the other mayors, the city councilors, everybody's been talking how wonderful we have, our town manager. And, thank you to the town employees, the DPW workers, everybody, town-wide, the community. I mean, when you looked around and you heard the news, Danvers, we had problems, right? Everybody had problems, but we didn't have quite as many problems as the other communities. So I think that goes a lot to saying how we have a great town manager and the staff. Naturally, we have a great clerk here, too. But,
That I heard.
Yeah. I did attend the Citizens Academy. Remember we talked about we were going to go through the program sometime? That was really uplifting. They did a great job. It was really an education. And I wanted to say thank you to all the departments, the electric. If you haven't been to that, when Clint was talking about Danvers Electric, go to that. Bring the kids. It's really fun. And Dee, I definitely, if all board members want to go for that competition, it would be nice if we got a photo. That would be great. I really appreciate that. And the expedition at Essex Tech, too. And other than that, I just want to say we have a great staff here. Our employees are what holds this town together, and the residents too. And Bill, we're working on stuff. Mark, Tony, everybody, Lois, and Lauren. Thank you, everybody. And we've got a lot of work, board members, ahead of us. I appreciate all the time and effort, and I appreciate the new town council coming here. Thank you, Kate. But that's it. And Dan, would you like to do your closing comment?
Yes, thank you. If you see a vet, please say thank you to him or her for their service.
Yep, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
2 minutes earlier than last.